on this episode of Motor MythBusters.
If we chop our car, can we get more speed?
The team is going low to lift the lid on an age-old racing myth.
3, 2, 1, hit it!
And when one illustrious buster breaks wind,
Oh my God, it's making it worse over here.
it calls for a painstaking series of tests
Oh God, it's getting worse. Yeah. Oh.
to find the most efficient way to clear the air.
Oh, hello. Oh, fresh air.
Meet the team.
We'll be at work in no time. This might be the miracle coolant that everybody's been searching for.
With the mechanical expertise
My main concern is structural integrity. I think this is gonna work.
to test all things automotive.
That was beautiful.
The more air we push through, the more fuel siphon out. And boom!
This is Motor MythBusters,
This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
where science meets the streets.
This car is insane. Do you hear that engine? It just wants to go fast. But it's not just about the engine. It's also a lot to do with the aerodynamics. Back in the old days, the guys driving hot rods, they figured if they chopped their cars and lowered the roof, that would give them better aerodynamics, therefore allowing their vehicles to go faster.
Chopping the roof off a stock vehicle is a topic often talked about in hot rod forums. It's a technique that was first pioneered in the mid-1930s.
Believe it or not, from a standing start, some of these draggers would beat a jet plane down that quarter-mile stretch.
But did lowering a hot rod's roof really make it go faster?
So that is the myth. If we chop our car, can we get more speed? In order to test this, we need a vehicle. Oh!
So, Tory, I have the perfect vehicle, the most unaerodynamic car we have.
The worst vehicle
Yes.
we have in the whole fleet of vehicles on
Yes.
MythBusters?
The brakes van is perfect.
All right, so we're gonna chop this.
Yes.
Well-
But first, we need to get some data to see the top speed of this big, crazy van.
Yeehaw! All right, well, why don't we do a control test? We'll get this to the end of our runway. I'll floor it.
Oh, we're already doing 21 miles an hour. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. So we're gonna see how fast we get up to in the quarter mile. Then we'll be able to compare results before and after we modify it. Are we sure we're good? Are there any more airplanes coming in?
I don't see anything in the
Coming in
horizon.
hot?
I don't see anything.
Here we are on an active airport, and let's just say this runway is quite active today. This is exciting.
Do you feel that adrenaline?
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah, it's there, right?
Yeah.
And on the mark, you go pedal to the metal.
I'm gonna go through the metal, pedal to the rust. Might go through the floor. All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1, go. 27, 30,
Look how long it's taking
40
to get up to speed.
50, 59, 60, 65, 67, 68.
71 miles an hour. The throttle's stuck, Bisi. That was exciting.
Thought it was stuck.
I kind of feel like a near-death experience.
Oh, no, stop. Is your heart beating fast?
No.
You're fine.
That was awesome.
You're fine.
But
was
it literally was like, oh my God. When that throttle stuck
Yeah.
and the brakes stopped working, it was like, oh, wow. The runway is almost finished. How are we gonna stop this thing?
Anyway, bottom line is, we were hauling that.
Yeah, 71 miles an hour.
Yes. 67. And with 2 more runs.
That's it.
So, we've got all the data we need. 67, 68.
That's it. Quarter mile. All right. So now that we know our average top speed of our unchopped van, before we actually chop it, we should get more info on its aerodynamics.
Oh, I have the perfect answer for that.
What?
So in racing, I did a lot of tuff testing.
Oh!
I don't know if you know what tuffs are.
Tuffs are when you put the little pieces of fabric on the outside of the vehicle.
I love using yarn, especially one that contrasts to the body of the car, color-wise. That'd be perfect.
And it's funny because it seems a little archaic, but they still use it in modern-day racing.
Anyone who is serious about aerodynamics still today respects that particular procedure.
I love it.
Now, we're going to use these pink tufts as a way to see what type of turbulence we see on the van.
I know it looks like we're decorating a Christmas tree, but this is actually very important science business.
Pink is good because it really stands out very nicely, and as we film, it will allow us the opportunity to see how we can improve on the aerodynamics of the van.
I think a huge problem you're going to see is just right now, this is just such a big flat surface.
Yes.
Up to the top, to the windshield. I mean, this is a wall pushing through wind. I think we're going to see a lot of problems.
What I'd be very curious about as well is what happens in this region. So if we put tufts here, will we see things standing right up?
100%. We should definitely do the roof as well.
And if we see any movement that goes upwards or downwards, we know we have turbulence and we need to modify the van accordingly.
All right, we're all toughed it up. You ready to see how aerodynamic this thing is?
This van's looking pretty tuffed.
Here we go. Tracking with us is a car with a high-speed camera, filming at 5,000 frames per second. To get an adequate amount of airflow over the van, we need to get it up to around 25 miles an hour. We're getting a lot of turbulence on the top.
Okay, tremendous amount of turbulence.
Yeah.
As in, the eddies that are forming on top there, the string was just pointing right up, flipping around.
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of good wind flow just on the windshield, but I mean, that makes sense. That's where most of the wind is getting pushed.
Of course.
Everywhere around the flat windshield, we're getting all kind of turbulence.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be interesting to see what the high-speed camera is picking up.
We're limited to what we can see here. It's so critical for us to take a look at the film and see what our tufts are doing around the vehicle.
All right, before we start, we're gonna look at our modern-day vehicles just to see what an aerodynamic car should look like.
What's interesting is, as you see, it's flat across all around. We don't have any eddies or vortices forming, which is very nice.
I mean, we're definitely seeing a little bit of turbulence in the back here, which you would expect.
Yes.
But, I mean, this is what a aerodynamically designed vehicle would look like. And this is good, though, because now we're seeing how the tufts should behave.
Yes, we have a frame of reference.
Yeah, and then I can't wait to see what our van looks like. Okay.
Okay, here's our van. And look at the top of the roof. There's nothing hugging. Things are actually, the tufts actually move upwards.
Yeah, they're just flapping all over. They're like...
Yeah, they're partying, and we weren't invited.
It's almost like a flat wall.
You know what this points to? Once we chop this roof, we're gonna gain significantly. Imagine getting rid of all of this.
Yeah.
The advantages we can experience.
Yeah, because then it'll just be a big wedge. You know what would be cool is if we could actually build a 3D model of the van. Then we can play with the shape of it and see if we can make it more aerodynamic.
Wow, that's pretty cost effective. And I think to do that properly, we need to digitally scan the car and then in software model anything we desire.
Yeah.
And then test accordingly. I like where that's going.
Yep.
I know the perfect person to call for this particular exercise.
Awesome.
Yeah. In the olden days, hot rodders had to physically cut the roof of their cars without even knowing if the results would be positive or not. Nowadays, we have access to modern technology where we can digitize our vehicles, model them in CAD software, 3D print them, and do a small-scale test. Now, that's exactly what we're gonna do with our van. To do that today, we have Martin Horton from Blue Point Scan, and he's going to scan the entire vehicle and allow us to model properly.
These are scanning targets. They're a 5mm diameter target, and the scanner picks up the center of each one of these targets and assigns an XYZ coordinate to it. And from that, it develops what that surface looks like. I'm gonna scan the side, the front, the roof, and then the rear and stitch all of these together.
Wow.
Well, Bisi, I've taken the model of the van that we scanned, and so now we can modify this van in any way we want with the computer.
That looks really good. So in this myth, we want to see if chopping the roof would help us get any aerodynamic advantage. So I'm thinking about, yes, doing something standard and old school just to see, and it may look pretty cool. We chop the front and then have that section taper upwards towards the factory rear.
Oh, okay, so you're thinking of taking a chunk out of the A pillar, maybe a little bit of B pillar, and leaving the back of the van the same? Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's see, how much roughly would you say are we taking out of this on the real van?
So, you know, I kind of still want to be able to see out the van.
That's a good idea.
So maybe 10 inches.
10 inches or so?
Yeah.
Let's see, a bit of a slant chop here.
Oh,
Let's
that's
go
perfect.
see.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
there we go. So
I like
that's
that.
from the other side. We can look at a perfect, that's roughly 10 inches.
Nice. But I still want to explore the traditional full chop.
Yeah, well, let's
So
take
10
a
inches
look.
all across.
Yeah, same idea, taking roughly 10 inches out of the front
Yes.
A pillar, but now we're extending that all the way to the back. And so we've got 10
Yes.
inches, 10 inches, and 10 inches here.
Beautiful.
So is that about what you were thinking?
That's perfect.
right on.
It looks
Well,
pretty cool.
It
and
does look pretty
strange.
cool, yeah.
Now that we have our model iterations done, we're going to 3D print them and compare them against each other in a small-scale test.
All right, so now it's time to pick what type of chop we're gonna do on this van. So we have our 3D printed van models. We have the regular shape, then we have our slanted shape, and then we just have the straight chop shape. We've created our own little wind tunnel. We're gonna put each of those shapes in so that way we can decide which version is the most aerodynamic.
This is my smoke leak detector. I use it for turbocharged applications to see if the systems have any leaks. Oh, I see some smoke right here. So we need to fix that. But it's the perfect device to create smoke for our miniature wind tunnel.
What is it?
It is vape juice. Without the,
Is that really vape
here it
juice?
is. Without the nicotine.
Don't stick your head in the end of the box. Yeah, that looks great. Our homemade wind tunnel is done. We have our plexiglass shape. We have their fans that are blowing air into the tunnel. Then it's going through a bunch of straws. Now, all the straws are going to keep that air moving in one direction, which we need so we can see our line of smoke. And then we have a fan at the other end of our chamber that's actually pulling the air out. So that way we get a nice, even flow of air. So when we send our smoke through the tunnel, we can see which van shape is most aerodynamic.
This is our base model that
Yeah.
we're looking at in terms of the factory van and how it looks in its originality. And what we're going to look for is that flow around the entire van, better than we could see while sitting inside the van.
Yeah, I feel like a mad scientist. All right, you ready?
Yeah, so here we go. Okay, so Tory, you see that upward stream?
Yeah.
It hits right on the windshield, and it has a lot of disruption, just like we saw in the video.
Yeah.
Very similar.
You know what else is happening? Look back here at the back of the van. See, there's like a vortex being created.
Yes, we have a lot of eddies forming back there.
That's
which
not
is to be
good.
expected, yeah. So now we are going to do another test. So this is the van now that has the flat top, no rake whatsoever, standard chop.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh my, okay, Tory, this is painfully obvious. Look what's
Oh.
happening.
Look at that.
That is beautiful. That's exactly what we want.
And we've decreased the wind drag at the back of the van tremendously.
It's obvious this is a much more aerodynamic design.
Yeah.
You see how that upper current flows so nicely and doesn't have the disruption that the initial one had?
Yeah.
That's very promising.
And if you look at the smoke, it's just rolling off the back
Absolutely.
of the vehicle, where before we saw a huge amount of turbulence right at the back of the
course.
van.
So you're telling me those old hot rodders were onto something?
I think so.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right, the last design we're gonna go for is the slanted roof.
I'm not too excited about this
No.
one. Only because, I mean, just looking at this shape and how air will go hit, it's still gonna hit the top of this, but
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe it'll help us. Okay. The rear dimensions are the same as the original van, but the front has a much lower frontal area, so I'm curious to how this is gonna work out. And so we have a nice stream going all the way top until the middle. And you
Yeah, there's a lot
We
more
have turbulence from the middle.
I'm not really thrilled about this design. Even though it looks cool, it doesn't seem to be helping aerodynamics.
It does not.
Well, right now, I'm favoring just the straight chop.
I'm right there with you.
So the winning design is the straight chop. Now, I was actually hoping that this wedge chop would be the winner just because it looks cool, but it turns out the old school, just dropping the roof, is going to be the most aerodynamic. So now all we have to do is do this to our real van.
Man, this thing has some, woo, get up and go. Oh man, I love luxury paired with speed. This is normally not my style, but in this particular case, I'm a woman on a mission. I have a myth in mind based off of an incident. Someone, Tory, released an odor. And, you know, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal except for the fact that Tory didn't roll down his window, and Bisi and I did, and I feel like the smell got worse in the car. Almost like it was cycloned around and like directly on my face. All right, so I know what you're thinking. Really, Faye? You guys are gonna like test farts? Of course we are. This is so freaking relevant. I cannot wait to get this car back to the shop and show it off to the guys. I think that they're gonna love this myth because this is relatable. Maybe even if this car is not relatable to everyone, this myth certainly is.
Oh, I like this car.
Yeah. Whoa, who's this?
Oh my goodness, look at this rose.
Oh my God. Faye,
Nice.
this looks good on you.
Oh.
I gotta be honest, I was kind of feeling like a little bit like I didn't fit while I was driving down the, you know, but I'm warming up to it.
I like this car a lot. This is an amazing automobile.
We're not gonna destroy this, are we?
Well, you know, I was thinking that maybe Bisi could, no, I'm just kidding. So, I was thinking really hard about what happened the other day.
Yeah.
You traumatized her.
Me? That was you, sir.
It was him.
This chap.
Well, regardless of which one of you it was, I feel like this is the basis of a really good myth. Myth is, we instantly roll down our windows.
Right.
You did not. If a person farts in a car,
Right.
he or she who dealt it must roll down their window, and that is the quickest and most effective way to clear out a smell, which is the opposite of what we did the other day.
Okay, so we're gonna try to figure out what is the best scenario for the windows, whether they're up or down.
And which ones need to be up and down?
Yeah.
And you want to use this beautiful English automobile.
We can't use my car, I only have 2 seats. We can't use his car, he only has 2 seats.
Yeah.
And your car smells already. So I figured this would fit us all comfortably.
And I think this is probably a scenario that a lot of people have been in, and so I think it's gonna be very relatable, and the amount of science that we can take away from this, I think it's gonna be very useful.
Yeah, it's science.
Let's go and look around it. Oh, wow, look at this.
Very, very nice. Oh, did you? Oh, jeez.
All right, so the myth is that someone passes gas in a vehicle, the window that is closest to them, if you roll that down, that'll clear the car out of any odors the fastest. We're gonna build a small-scale model to test it.
To see how the airflow reacts when smoke is pumped in, the guys are using plexiglass for a model. A job that's unashamedly in Tory's wheelhouse.
I used to make models for Star Wars and stuff. It was so sweet. Oh, dude, we used to get all the chicks because they were like, wait, what? You're working on Star Wars, the movie? That's hot.
If they could only see him now, rigging up a toy car, plumbing in placebo farts, and using a fan to simulate motion.
This is serious science here.
Why don't we start with the driver?
Okay, so the
Put some
driver's gonna
smoke there,
fart.
And then we'll roll down his window.
Yep.
His window, and then see what happens.
Your window.
No,
It wasn't
no.
me. Maybe it was Faye. I don't know.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so wow, that's a big fart.
Yeah, that's quite,
All right, shut
fit
it
the
off.
cabin very nicely.
Look how quickly that just fills
Yes,
the
the
interior
cabin.
of the car. All right,
Okay.
so rolling down the farter's window.
Okay, I see a lot is coming out.
It's kind of pushing all that smoke to the back corners and the front corners.
It's almost worse for the people in the back.
Yeah,
Tory, I want to try something different. The other side.
so the driver is still the perpetrator,
Yes.
but now the passenger is gonna roll down his
Yes,
window.
and see what
All
happens.
right,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's... Ooh, look at it.
Wow.
Look at it, fill that cabin.
Must have had some burritos last night. Okay.
Here we go. Passengers turning down their window.
Oh, that's just...
Oh, look at it's like it actually benefits the driver a little
yeah.
bit. Okay, so opening either side front window creates circulation, pushing the odor to the rear with a relatively slow dissipation. Time to test some combinations, starting with the front and rear passenger side windows. Wow, look at that. That cleared out the gas almost instantaneously.
Okay, how about diagonally?
Oh yeah, we'll get like a little crosswind.
Yeah, see what happens there.
I like it.
Okay. Oh, see that first burst right there? That was potent.
Rude. Look at that, just pushed it all up to the front. If you wanted to make him pay for it,
That's what you do.
you just do a diagonal window open.
But what if we utilize both rear windows?
Smells in the back.
Oh, the front is bad. Oh,
That just kind of pushed all
everything
that
to the
smell
footwell.
to the front.
Yeah. We are seeing consistent results as the open air forces the flatulence inwards first before circulating. And we can increase the speed of dissipation by opening multiple windows. Okay, so now we're gonna try the two front windows. Here we go.
Wow.
That was really good.
In my opinion, that was the fastest
Yeah.
clearing of all of them so far. All right, let's go for the obvious now.
Okay, sounds good.
All four windows. 3, 2, 1. I mean, that's like,
just
bam,
clear everything out. Yeah,
completely cleared out.
That's the best so far.
Yeah. So far, our small-scale testing with the fart coming from the front window indicates that opening all four windows simultaneously may be the most effective tactic. This guy is the perpetrator, and he opens his window. But what if the fart came from the backseat, and we opened their window only?
Oh.
These guys, everybody's suffering, except for the perpetrator. It's like he's, at least they have fresh air. The fart reacts the same way. So, who the dealer is does not affect the results. Time to take this full scale and see how each window affects the gas flow on the freeway, with the addition of a more noticeable scent. Let's talk about how we're gonna get the farts inside the car.
Well, instead of you having to consume copious amounts of beans, I brought a proper substitute, hydrogen sulfide, also known as dihydrogen monosulfate. This is a perfect gas that has that pungent rotten egg smell, same as your silent but deadly emanations.
Why do you keep pointing at me?
But is also very corrosive, extremely poisonous, and quite flammable.
Oh.
Why? Are you trying to kill us?
Not at all. Luckily, I have a low concentration. This is only 50 parts per million.
All right, let's test it.
Okay, ready? Get a whiff of that. Get a whiff of that, sir, madam.
Oof, that's right.
It's pretty bad, right?
Definitely.
But it'll work.
Oh, God.
Well, to distribute our gas, I made a little fart box. And we have this controller here that will allow just the amount of gas we want. We don't want to overdo it and fill the cab with too much.
Right, and after a while, we get desensitized to it. So we're not going to be able to. Did you just let it rip?
The test hasn't even started yet, and he's ready to go.
Hey, I'm just making sure it works. Okay.
Gosh. All right, well, let's install these things, you guys.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I'll grab that. The hydrogen sulfide bottle is hooked up to a pipeline with an electronic controller, so we can deposit with a push of a button.
I'm going to take this out and just zip tie everything to this plate.
Okay.
Just so, because when we're driving around, this is going to be like sliding all over the place.
Perfect.
I've done a lot of things in Rolls Royces, but this is the first time I've ever put a fart machine in one.
Since no one will admit to breaking wind, Faye is rigging the pipe under Buster's bottom in the back seat. So that will be the consistent ground zero for which the team will test all variable window combinations.
Oof. Oh.
Did you just?
Did you just pass gas?
No, it was this.
Bisi
thing.
passed
No,
gas.
I did not. It's the hydrogen sulfide.
We haven't even started the
Oh,
experiment.
he let it rip.
Oh, my God.
When Buster's bottom burps are released, the entire cabin will be filled. And with the fabricated fart box fully operational, the team is ready to test the myth on the open road.
It's very smooth. Is it
It's
a
a
V12?
Rolls Royce. Hello.
Is it V12?
It is a V12, yeah.
Yep, this beastly beauty comes equipped with all the bells and whistles, including active air filtration, which senses smells and removes them. So to make sure their British oven is tested au naturel, the guys have disengaged the system, along with the heating, ventilation, and aircon. Faye will keep the car moving at a steady speed. Tory will push the button to let rip from Buster's seat, with Bisi keeping time on how long it takes to clear the air after the respective windows are opened.
All right, here we go. We're gonna start the test in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it smells so bad.
Buster's farting. Oh.
Starting with the farter's window to get the benchmark for this myth.
Start the timer.
Timer started. Oh, jeez. It made it worse where I'm sitting.
Oh my God, it's making it worse over here.
It's still here.
I'm at 19 seconds.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
20.
Oh, it's almost like it's pushing all the
pushing it in.
smell over to here.
No, I feel like it's coming all to me. Ugh.
All right, for me, it's gone.
I can still smell it. I can still smell it. I can still smell it.
So, Faye, let me know when you want to call this.
Okay, maybe now. Maybe now.
Okay.
Let's roll our windows down.
That was 1 minute, 26 seconds.
So to find out how the myth stands in comparison to our farter, we need to test the other window configurations. Next in line, one in front of the perp, the driver's window. Okay, I'm gonna start the farting.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
I'm rolling down mine.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh. It's almost like it's coming through and clearing out the front.
I'm okay now.
How much time was that?
58 seconds.
Okay, so opening the window in front of the farter speeds up the total dissipation time. And testing the front passenger side
All right, ready? Here we go.
confirms it's consistently better to be near an open window.
Oh God, that's so good. I don't smell it anymore.
But for everyone else,
This is the worst it's been for me yet.
Really?
Wow, so that was
Yeah.
1 minute, 6 seconds.
Wow.
The front windows definitely do a good job of circulating the stench, possibly because airflow gets the gas moving from a more acute angle, maybe. But what about the opposite rear window?
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Start the timer.
Timer started.
Oh God, it's getting worse.
Yep.
Oh, it's like it's pushing it in and up to the front.
It's like I'm trapped in the back seat, like it's pushing my head into the upholstery.
opening either of the two back windows yielded eye-wateringly similar results.
1 minute, 22 seconds.
Really?
So it's like the back seats are not the...
They're not the
That's
winners.
not the way to do it.
The
So,
back seats are definitely
guys,
not the winners.
We have some good data here, and so far it looks like Faye's window was the best. But I'm curious if we went with windows on the same side. So let's say two windows on Faye's side, and then we try two windows on Tory and my side.
Okay, so
and see what kind of numbers we get.
So maybe we start with Buster since he's farting.
Okay.
Here we go.
For the sake of science.
Buster farting. And
oh my God.
It's pretty much in the whole cabin, so go for it.
No!
Oh, that was nice. For me, it's not so bad now.
It's better.
Okay, done.
Okay, we got it. 33 seconds.
Wow. We just like cut our time in half almost.
By doubling the airflow from the source side, we've halved our clearance time. And opening the opposite side window is even better.
Go.
Oh.
No.
It's like
fresh air.
That's almost.
I'm good now.
What?
I'm good right now.
Seriously?
Wow. That was 11 seconds. So I have another suggestion.
Yeah.
How about we try diagonally?
I love that idea. Okay, here we go. Buster's farting. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's like this perfect crossbreed.
It's like
I'm instant.
It's like it's getting compacted towards
Oh my
me.
God, Faye's crying.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Okay, it's clear. It's clear.
Okay,
it's clear now.
mine's-
It's clear for me
It's
now.
clear for
It's
Faye.
still lingering for me a little bit.
Okay.
It's still lingering for me.
All right, well, we gotta wait till
I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay, stop.
How many seconds?
28 seconds.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
So, opening diagonally opposed windows in both combinations
Go Faye, you and I.
helps to clear the air, but not before forcing it into the dead zones and punishing the passengers with their windows closed.
Oh, it's just collecting right here in this corner. How many seconds?
23.
That was impressive.
Yeah, not bad.
The team is leaving no stone unsniffed,
Oh, it's so bad back here.
testing both front
It's like a
Still
fart
smelling it.
compactor back here.
Oh, you poor guy.
and both rear windows.
Oh, it's worse up here.
It's worse. It's worse. It's worse.
Not so bad.
I'm still smelling
So
it.
I hear this oscillating pressure back here. I don't know if you guys can hear that as well.
Yeah.
That's
it's
just
up.
hammering the smell into our noses.
Confirming the airflow consistently traps that foul stench in the pockets of the car where the windows are closed.
55 seconds. That was rough.
Buffering
It
was
literally
intense.
just compressed it all up front.
Okay. Now we have the mother of all tests.
Start the timer. Go.
Oh, good. I'm good. How are you, Faye?
It's like instantaneous.
Yeah, how about you, Faye?
That was instantaneous.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Wow.
good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
That was 10 seconds.
Oh!
As expected, with all 4 windows open, our noxious gas has nowhere to hide. All right, guys, I have some good data for you
right,
based on
let's-
the results we have.
All right.
Now, anyone who existed in a pocket where there was no air seemed to get bombarded with just fart particles.
Yeah, I feel like we got a ton of incredible information here, very scientific data. However, there's an element to this that I feel like is a little bit subjective.
Yeah, 100%. Like your sensitivity to the smell was far greater than Bisi and mine. So we need some visual validation on how the fart particles are reacting and circulating. And I've got just the thing.
What the heck?
Hello.
Did you take up a new habit?
No.
Tory!
I have this bellows. I'm gonna fill it with this vape pen, and we're gonna fill the car with smoke, and we're gonna run through our worst.
Good.
Sounds like
Well,
a great idea.
I'll get ready because the rear was the worst of our test.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Are you going to evacuate the bellow next to Buster, or are you going to keep it
I
up
think
there?
we're just gonna fill the whole car.
Okay, sounds good.
You'll be happy to know there's no nicotine in this.
Wow. Oh, goodness.
All right, you ready?
The 2 rear windows proved equally inefficient at clearing the air. So we're using Bisi's window to see exactly what happened with the airflow coming from the back.
Oh, goodness.
1, 2, 3, timer. Oh, look at that.
The wind.
So it looks like
the air is coming in over your left
it's
shoulder.
coming over.
Yeah.
But as soon as the air started flowing in over your left shoulder, it pushed it all out.
Are you still lingering?
We're still smoky in the
See?
front.
Okay. I gotta say.
And it's
this,
mostly in your corner.
I know. This is so validating.
I can still see a lot of smoke here.
Yeah, like in
Just
my
your
lap.
Even from our footwell. It's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Looks clear now.
1 minute, 6 seconds. It's very close to before. Faye's nose is pretty calibrated.
That's crazy. That was such a great visual to see
It was
exactly
fantastic.
what's happening with the airflow.
Yup.
Nice work, guys. I hope we never have to test this ever again. So the myth that the person who perpetrated the fart rolling down the window is the best solution, turns out that was actually the worst solution. It was good for the perpetrator,
Right.
but it made all the passengers suffer worse.
So
No,
true.
so true. Especially me in the front. I feel like I was just like caught in this little vestibule of smell.
And let's say that the perpetrator didn't want to assist in
Yes.
evacuation. The best thing to do would be to go to the opposite side of the offender, roll down all the windows on that side, or go across.
Right, right.
So the results are in, and the surprise takeaway is the farter's window actually fared the worst. Yep, no matter which way you skin the data, all of the combinations which include the window closest to Buster, aka the person who dealt it, created slower comparative dissipation times. So if opening all 4 windows isn't an option, at least punish the perp. Keep theirs closed and open up the windows on the opposite side.
I've just gotta say, this one is totally busted.
I agree.
Totally busted.
Busted.
But you know what was really fascinating was seeing the smoke, how it illustrated what was happening with the airflow.
You're right. It was such a big eye-opener for me to see all that smoke just lingering around your footwell and gradually rising up to you.
I know.
We
My
thought you were
goodness.
nuts.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of nuts, I'm never driving with y'all two again under these circumstances. That was insane. And you know what? I should actually probably get going on my own because I've got to return that car.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to thank you guys. Whoever dealt it, this inspired this whole experiment. So
Whoever dealt
good on you guys.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yep.
Tory was the one who... You know, Tory, I've never cut a van up before.
You know what? I've sheared the top off of a car.
On purpose?
Yeah, driving underneath a semi-trailer.
Oh, my God.
But I've never actually done a proper chopping of a hot rod. But I know how, like, I kind of know the basics.
Okay. All right.
And so we want to cut it down almost 10 inches. Okay.
Sorry.
So
seriously.
So basically, we are going to have like viewing of, we'll have like a 6-inch viewing windshield. I think if we get real low, I mean, that's how the hot rods did it, right?
Yeah.
That's a healthy chunk of
Yes, it is.
cut there. What if we took out 16 inches? If 10 inches is good, 16 inches might be amazing.
Tory.
Like, just think about it. Just listen, hear me out.
Okay.
Okay, so we have like 15.5 inches. So we could technically cut this to 12 and we'd still have
3 inches of windshield?
How big are your eyeballs? You don't need to see, all we need to see is the road. Like, look, all we need to do is this.
See,
Look at this.
Here's Tory again.
Look, Bisi.
Going crazy. He's always trying to take something extreme and even go Tory extreme with it. It's
Look at this. Plenty of headroom.
Why does everything have to be crazy with you? Why can't you just be
If it's
normal?
worth doing, it's worth overdoing,
Oh,
right?
my God.
When we start winning races with this van, you'll go, now I understand what you were talking about.
Okay, you know,
That gives us 12 inches.
it's still aggressive, but that's not as bad. 12 I'm okay with.
I love it.
I think that's a good compliment. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
It would look so sick when we're done.
Cool.
So after a bit of back and forth, Tory and I have decided to chop 12 inches. Will this be enough to improve his aerodynamics and beat 71 miles an hour in a quarter mile? I'm excited.
Me too.
My first chop. All right. But before we get chopping, we've got to get weighing. Because once we chop this vehicle, our weight's going to change quite a bit.
Oh, totally. And I think it's very important that we keep our van the same weight as the control test.
Good point.
That way we keep it just looking at, is the aerodynamics making this van go faster?
Don't fight. Right there. Okay.
All right, how much does the van weigh with us in it?
4,198 pounds. So we'll chop the top, make all the modifications, and when we're done with you and I in the car, we need to have this as our control weight.
Yep. All right, first thing we need to do is we need to strip the entire interior of the van.
Yes.
Because if we're going to be cutting this, there's going to be sparks flying. We don't want to set the interior of the van on fire. Now that we know our weight, we can take everything out and then just put the weight back in as we need.
Sounds good.
So far, so good.
So right now, I noticed that the front windshield is really dry rotted. So I'm gonna cut this seal on the inside, which is a little more pliable. Allow me to release the pressure around the windshield, push it outwards, and hopefully save the windshield. Because we're gonna replace the glass with a polycarbonate style material, and I want to use that windshield as a base to form that polycarbonate so we can have a nice shape to the front of the van.
Rose, we have some questions for you. We're about to start this chop, and neither of us have ever done like a professional chop.
Yeah, the sides make sense, but to be able to mate this section, that's where I'm a bit confused.
Automobiles are a football shape, so as you lower the roof, it's a little too narrow. So we've either got to widen the top or we've got to move the pillars in.
The plan is we want to take out 12 inches.
Ooh, that's good, because when you cut these roofs, you should cut them a lot.
Yeah, see?
You're onto something.
She agrees with me.
Nice.
What I'm doing right now is just putting in some cross bracing, because once we cut the top of this van off, those walls are going to want to fluctuate, and we don't want to lose our shape. So once we have those welded in place, then we can start cutting our support beams.
If we don't cut these structures out, it'll really pose a problem for us to remove the top entirely.
And then we can actually do the roof chop.
My first door.
This is just a straight edge.
So you can use that to...
So it'll be a nice straight cut.
I'm partial to vans, and I put tons of power in them. I love building 1,000-horsepower minivans and the like, but cutting the roof off of one, I have never, ever done that, or even thought I'd ever do it.
So we are making some great progress on the van chop. Once we have the entire thing cut, we'll drop the roof and see how it looks. So Rose is bringing the forklift in because we're at a very critical point right now.
Coming in.
Where the roof is actually going to be detached from the van. So we don't want that thing just to fall on us. So we're gonna put the forks in, cut the rest of the door frames, and then our front supports once we're done with that. It's a good thing we got the forklift in place. This is so cool looking. This is gonna be
crazy,
ridiculous. I mean, it's gonna sit right on the dashboard.
That was a lot of rust.
All right, you guys ready? And then we're gonna start lowering that roof. We're gonna get it to the right height.
Oh my goodness.
But we are at the point where this van is chopped.
That looks oh my God, that's cool.
Like, that's ridiculous. Is that not hilarious?
It is.
Oh,
Tori, can you see me?
Plenty of room. We just got to get rid of these visors. Well, we've chopped 12 inches out, and now, you know, Bisi said I was crazy. I'm starting to feel like maybe I am a little crazy, too. I only have maybe about 4 inches of windscreen to see out of, but I don't know. This might actually work.
Wow. I don't think I've said as many wows in my life as I have today.
Yeah, you've been saying wow.
Wow.
Bisi, you have been wowed by this whole thing.
Yes, I have been.
So now that we cut out 12 inches from our pillar, the pillars don't match up anymore. So what we need to do is actually cut the roof into a couple of sections, bring them out so that the pillars line up. Let's just make it a convertible. We'll weld those. We got to make sure all of our angles are lining up so this thing goes back together beautifully. Look at that.
Okay, so imagine it's a nice summer day.
Oh, yeah. Can you just sit lower? That's what we're talking about. Whoa. And then we have to put pieces of steel in between our gaps.
These pieces allow for adhesion of the center section to the outer sections, and I had the opportunity to curve them using a hammer and anvil to allow for a nice curvature, so it can follow the same lines as the top of the van. Meanwhile, Rose is using the plenishing hammer to shape the larger steel pieces that will fill in the bigger sections of the roof.
Yeah, this gives it strength so that it's dent resistance, so it has dimensional stability.
So it gives it a little bit more structure.
Yeah.
Good. This is like an art form. It's just like making sure the steel is lining up, making sure the form, the top of the van is perfect, following the original top. It's more like sculpting than it is fabricating.
Oh, she's ready to drive.
We got a chop top.
Yes, we do, sir.
Dude, look at how much headspace we have in there. That's plenty of room to see.
Our steering and pedals go back to the original position, and the seats are bolted to the floor.
Since this is all about aerodynamics and it's not about weight,
39.52.
we need to make sure that it weighs the same as it did before we chopped it. All right, what are we at, Bisi?
We are 42.28.
How about now?
41.99. I'll take it.
Close enough.
41.99. I christened her Rusta.
Ah, I love it.
How's that?
Perfect. There you go. This thing is so cool looking.
Beautiful. I have built vans in my time, but nothing this exquisite.
And I thought when we said we're gonna chop this van, it was gonna be as easy as take out a section, drop the roof, weld it back, and we're done. I had no idea how much work this was gonna take, but hopefully it's gonna pay off.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Take it to the tarmac and see what happens.
I love it when a van comes together.
I did it, fool who doesn't like this van.
Does size matter or not? They're about to find out. With the top of the van now 12 inches lower, it's time to discover whether chopping the roof off really does make a vehicle go faster. But first, they're going to redo the tough test to compare the van's pre- and post-chop aerodynamics.
All right, BC, the chop is done.
Yes.
We have the tufts on it.
Absolutely.
It's time to do a run to see if our chop helped us or hurt us.
Yes, we saw some good results in the small-scale test. Now we can monitor what happens in real life.
All right, you ready to do this?
I'm ready, sir.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Might help to put it in gear.
That would help a little bit.
Like before, we're being tracked by a high-speed camera.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that.
So initially, with the old body, we saw a lot of turbulence on top.
Yeah.
Everything is laying flat. Remember, you had a lot of disturbance before. It's just laying
on the
flat.
roof before they were flapping around. Now they're
Yes.
laying flat. And look at our windshield. Beautiful. I mean, that's hopeful for us.
I think we're on the right path, Tory.
Let's see if this changed the aerodynamics. Wow.
Tory, look at that.
That shape actually has made a difference.
Initially, when the van was in factory form, we saw a significant amount of turbulence on the roof of the van.
Yeah.
Telling us that it didn't do very well in allowing us to cut through the wind easily.
Yeah. And now
And
all
now
that,
everything's just laying flat.
they're all laying
Oh,
flat.
my goodness.
It's like we've almost created a wedge to cut through the air.
A beautiful aerodynamic wedge. I'm excited because this is now mimicking the aerodynamic profile of a modern car.
Yeah.
That means what we saw on the small scale translated very well to real life.
Which also means that might translate to us getting a faster speed.
Can we do it?
Ready for the real test?
I'm so ready.
If we get a faster speed than 71 miles an hour, this is a completely confirmed myth.
I agree.
Chop top, final test, quarter mile.
3, 2, 1, hit it.
Come on, baby! You can do it!
49, 50, 60.
Come on! How are we gonna do it?
37, wow, that's good.
We did it!
Great.
We went 6 miles per hour
I
faster.
would take it. I would take it. I would totally take that.
Whoa!
And after 2 more runs,
That's good.
Woo-hoo!
It's crazy.
Oh my God! 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
it's a done deal.
You can do it!
Chopping and lowering this van's roof
Oh my
We
goodness.
confirmed it!
has made it quicker.
Those old timers knew what they were talking about.
Chopping your car will make you go faster.
Absolutely. That's great.
It worked!
Wow. That was crazy.
I can't believe it.
Ruster did it.
All we did is we just chopped it and brought it down by 12 inches, and that gave us a faster speed.
You're absolutely correct. The van weighs the same driver, same low horsepower power plant. The 6 miles an hour is a big deal.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
And the thing is, in a race, any little bit of advantage you can take, you'll take it.
Right.
So we have to confirm this myth.
Yes.
Those old hot rodders, they were onto something.
They knew what they were doing.
Awesome.
Good
That was
job.
a lot of work. Let's go see if we can find people to drag.
Oh, they won't know what's coming.